Hey stoners, today I'm bringing you an in-depth look at the cannabis industry, but first a brief overview of recreational grows. At this time, recreational grows remain pretty regulated, and specifically with the taxes, entry to market, growing space, surveillance, accountability, and various labor laws. And all of these add to the cost and regulations of the recreational cannabis industry. And depending on what state someone is looking at, it could mean much higher than others. These regulations in the end cost money and affect the quality, price, and most of all, smaller farms. And these are the smaller farms that craft cannabis would come from. On the other hand, hemp cannabis grows are at this time seemingly less regulated than recreational grows. And that is because hemp is regulated differently and even regulated by entirely different state and federal agencies. Because hemp generally has less THC percentage and more CBD percentage, and for that they are looked at differently, and so hemp naturally would have a different tax structure, entry to market, growing space, surveillance and accountability, and different labor laws. Also pretty easily stated, meaning the less regulated, the less it costs to grow and the more people will grow it. But that is just an overview of both of those two industries. The real industry analytics here is how the two young industries will clash now and into the future. An intrapersonal look at the industry is that hemp fields are pollinating recreational fields and causing seed production. What this does is raise costs for recreational grows and labor, and obviously lowering the quality of flower. Obviously, once seeded flower is worth less than non-seeded. What is happening is that hemp grows are purchasing agricultural land in close enough proximity to recreational grows, and there's males within the hemp fields at a lower percentage, but the pollen is being carried either by wind or by bees. Now, it is fair to mention that the industry practice for hemp is to purchase feminized seeds, which does cut down on the percentage of male cannabis plants that produced the pollen. Yet feminized does not mean there won't be males, and often there are. Currently, there is very little incentive for hemp growers to hire someone to constantly look for the males within their hemp fields. And not only that, to look for them and to properly and carefully take them out. Specifically, if hemp is seeded a bit, the end impact on the value is not drastically changed when compared to recreational marijuana, since most hemp is not grown for flower anyways. So as we can see, the cost of this unintended consequence is actually shifted to the recreational grows, and especially on outdoor grows, which is my favorite outdoor marijuana. In the short term, I only see this problem increasing, and perhaps even devastating some small recreational grows. And specifically what I can say to this is that if you look at Oregon, in 2018 they actually doubled the amount of hemp permits. And some short-term fixes, it's not an end-all, and perhaps some people can do it if they want, but the short-term fixes really would have to be on the recreational grower. And it is to get to know your neighbor. I would offer, if I had a grow right next to a hemp farm, I would offer to identify and extract the males on the neighboring hemp farm, and that is assuming that the hemp farm isn't a gigantic one and that's even feasible. And perhaps to even focus on light depth a little bit more. In long term, depending on the state and laws, there are going to be some lawsuits heading down the pipeline. I would assume a larger recreational grow will bring a lawsuit against the hemp grow, because I don't think a smaller farmer will be able to afford this. Smaller farmers at this time are barely able to operate at cost, but that is completely another video for another time. I also see in the long-term intervention from the local, state, and federal levels, perhaps some counties declaring themselves either hemp or recreation, And at the higher regulatory level, designating minimum spacing by miles between hemp and recreational cannabis. Either way you slice it, it's not an easy problem, and it's definitely one that's going to be heated up, especially as going into 2019, because this problem already exists. It's not like it's going to exist or it's going to happen. It already does. So, which is why, you know, we're taking a look at it right now. And in the end, it only hurts the little guy, the farmers trying to grow that craft cannabis. And to those farmers, I say stay strong. I believe in it. I hope one day there will be craft cannabis. But right now, definitely they're being hurt on many levels right now. This is my first industry analytic video, so I think it is fair to mention the reason you don't see me supporting claims and statistics, perhaps with articles, is because I actually work within the industry. So everything I'm saying is stuff I personally also deal with, and the stuff that I see and that people within the industry talk about. And everything I've stated I know to be true at this time. I am the Red-Eyed Widow with GentlemanStoners.com, and this has been an in-depth look at the cannabis industry, and we will keep you updated.